This is how the worst day of my life began. A masked man closing in on Dunwall Tower, planning a murder. Dowd and the Lord Regent killed Jessamine, but it broke them. Now it's happening again. Another Empress dies, another story ends. What will it do to me? Delilah won't go without a fight. She outfoxed me and I never saw it coming. But I was Corvo before I was the royal protector. Before I owned a sword, I fought with sticks and broken glass, whatever came to hand. I don't know what grand scheme you've got underway, Delilah, but I'm coming to put you in your grave.
Now that we're here, I suppose you know where to go and what to do. You've killed a legion, so what's one more?
One more, or 1,000 more. Delilah deserves what she's about to get.
At my age, I've come to distrust words like deserve. As I've told you, I knew her long ago. Badly wounded, deep at her center, but cunning, and looking for a way to pull herself up. Perhaps more than anything, Delilah had a talent for imagining the world as a better place. If only that could have been channeled towards something less twisted.
Too late for regrets.
Everyone feels some regret, atop a long line. Mine is now chiefly that I'm out of time. Take care of yourself.
Goodbye, Anton. Megan, I'm taking the skiff. I want to go to Dunwall Tower alone.
All right. Do you know how you're going to kill Delilah? If you leave her alive, she'll come for you sooner or later.
I'll do whatever it takes to end her and get Emily back.
Just make sure you don't hesitate. Delilah's dangerous.
You don't have to worry about that.
Delilah's a mad dog. She tore out a piece of her soul to get her way. What else do you need to hear?
No one will ever know exactly what it took to save Emily Kaldwin from a living death as Delilah's puppet. No one except the outsider, who watches everything and thinks his own dark thoughts and speaks to few in any generation. I've learned that our choices always matter. To someone. Somewhere. And sooner or later, in ways we can't always fathom, the consequences come back to us. I came from Serkonos to Dunwall as a boy. Made my living as a killer. One of the few who've heard the outsider's voice. I murdered an Empress, but saved her daughter, who will one day rule the Empire. Those were my choices. I'm ready for what comes.
If old Samuel could see me now.
Take me to Dunwall Tower. Bring me back to the cage in my own chest.
Oh, I will. Delilah will be made mortal again.
You let Emily's mother slip into oblivion. Do you know where my mother's resting? In a child's coffin, her skinny legs tucked beneath her, because I couldn't afford proper burial, while my father rests in the Imperial crypt.
You're lying.
You still can't accept it. You were sent to Dunwall as a gift, like a box of candies, because that's all you were worth. I inhabit your lover's heart, and my body sleeps in your bastard daughter's bed.
If I learned anything in Karnaca, It's that you only deserve to keep your throne if you're ready to roll out a red carpet of blood before it. We'll be face to face soon, and I'll end you, Delilah. I went back home to Serkonos to strike against those supporting Delilah, the architects of the coup against Emily.
And were you successful? Things are a mess here.
I know how to beat Delilah now. I'm going to topple her and find a way to help my daughter retake her throne.
It's the best news I've heard in a long while. You'll have my support. Whatever you need, just ask.
Once it's safe, just tell the public what happened. If I come out on top, I'll invite you to Dunwall Tower to conduct an interview.
Who are you?
I'm an agent of the true Empress, Emily Kaldwin.
Thank the stars for that. I've been hiding here since the coup. Worked in the carriage rails before things went to pieces.
I've been away. What's it been like here in the capital city?
At first, there was fighting. Delilah's bunch against those in the city watch who were still loyal. People tried to barricade the streets, to put up a wall around the tower. Eventually, the overseers came down, led by the High Overseer himself. They fought against Delilah's witches. That's the only word for them. But I haven't seen an overseer in a while now.
What else?
There was rioting over food, but people have fled the district mostly. Not long ago, someone came by in the dead of the night, pushing a carriage toward the tower. Looked like bones, maybe from a whaling slaughterhouse. No idea why Delilah would want that.
Thanks for what you've told me. Stay hidden for a few more days. Maybe things will get better after that.
They're laying low because of Delilah.
Where do you think you're going?
Don't go anywhere! I'll kill you for that! No mercy!
Time to die, old man. You're gonna pay for her death!
I saw the High Overseer fall. All is lost. Leave this place.
The Abbey assaulted the tower.
Somehow we were overcome. Not just Delilah's sorcerers and their gravehounds, but mechanical men. Automated soldiers. The ancient music was useless against them.
Rest now. But know that I'm going to end Delilah's reign. I swear it.
Go then, and carry the blessing of the Abbey with you. End Delilah and make Dunwall whole again for all the people of the Empire.
This is Delilah's doing.
Blend. Make the pigments block the wind. Fingers stained blue and blush. Conjure rainbows for her brush.
Coal tar dye, pig's placenta, grind and wash, rich magenta.
2 hands sift and 2 hands blend. Make the pigments block the wind.
Fingers stained blue and blush. Conjure rain. Huh?
What's going on? There was someone.
Now I'll be
Be on
big.
your guard, sisters! Ready your swords!
Come back here. Why did you have to die?
Look everywhere!
sisters! We need to protect our mistress from this threat!
Who's that?
All dried out. That makes it easier to collect. Less messy.
Where?
What? Like a man, but not like a man. Oil runs through its veins, rendered from the fat of leviathans from the deep, icy water.
The machine should begin scouting the vicinity. Recharging. Playback for detection. Coil. This playback indicates some detection without certainty. This plays if someone eludes the machine. General detection state. Enemy evasion successful. This playback quarry lost.
This won't do. To have the tower humming and belching sparks once more.
Audio collection. Playback indicates lost enemy.
but added a tree to the painting. After arranging the runes across the chair, both pure and corrupted.
With more corrupt runes, maybe I could turn Delilah's painting against her.
With more runes, I should be able to do the same to all the Empire. This will be my greatest undertaking, transposing my painting. The world as it should be. With this wretched dung heap we're all born into. At last, all will be made proper and good.
We walk and breathe, but we are incomplete. My spirit returns.
Onto the canvas, and I will show you my vision.
My daughter. So she'd replace all the world with this.
Why shouldn't my people love their Empress? All that was taken from me, in return, I will take back. My name, formed on their tongues, passing across their lips.
we should trap her in her own fantasy world.
What I've always deserved. My justice. Now what's always been marred and distorted will be perfect. I've waited so long. Sing my songs and lick my flesh. Worship me.
I'll explain everything.
And so a man born with the face of the Duke quietly slipped into Karnaka's highest seat, enjoying all the pleasures of the Grand Palace. No one noticed the change, and if they did, they didn't dare mention it. In Dunwall, without ever realizing it, Delilah was trapped in an imagined world where her father's lies were undone and her subjects would bow to her forever, as she sailed into war with a great armada and trekked across the Pandician wastes. While in the true capital, Emily the Vengeful rooted out the last of those who had betrayed her and ruled over her empire with Corvo Attano by her side. In his day, Anton Sokolov lit the fires of industry, starting a great consuming blaze at the heart of the Empire. He saw his machines used for war and oppression, watching the powerful crush those beneath them. Leaving Dunwall for the last time, he turned to the cold north, his energy spent at last, only an echo of the man he'd aspired to be. There are things that never change, no matter how hard you try. Questions you must answer. As Megan Foster faded from the world, Billy Lurk stepped from her shadow, setting out to discover her truest self, and seeking the closest thing she'd ever known to family.
Let's sit down. I'll explain it all.
And And so a man born with the face of the Duke took his seat in Karnaca, ruling with empathy for those not born in a palace. The people were surprised by this sudden turn, but did not question their good fortune. In Dunwall, without ever realizing it, Delilah passed into an imagined world where her father's promises were fulfilled and her subjects would love her forever, as she sailed the ocean with a great fleet and trekked across the Pendician wastes. While in the true capital, Emily the Just, Emily the Clever, ruled for decades over a prosperous, mended empire with Corvo Attano by her side. In his day, Anton Sokolov fired the engines of industry, hurtling the empire into a more sophisticated age. He dallied with nobles, wayward artists, and great inventors alike, drinking in all that life could offer. Leaving Dunwall for the last time, he headed to the cold north, contented at last, on a final voyage to take him home. There are things that never change, no matter how hard you try. Questions you must answer. As Megan Foster faded from the world, Billy Lurk stepped from her shadow, setting out to discover her truest self, and seeking the closest thing she'd ever known to family.